Good morning, St. Louis. It is 7 a.m. on a Tuesday, so you know what time it is. It's time for the St. Louis Hustle Podcast with your boy, CORTEZ Hustle, my girl, Michelle A. is still away on a much-needed vacation. Y'all make sure y'all keep lifting my sister up in prayer as she is trying to find some care for her father as he's going through some health challenges. But today we're talking sample ballot. Who's running for office in the St. Louis metro area? I don't know about you guys, but I've been hearing for the last several years or so that local elections are more important than national elections. But I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about local elections. So as I'm starting to educate myself, I thought it'd be a good idea for me to do that live and then live in color with you. So we'll take a look at some of the candidates that are running in, I guess, in 2 weeks in the primaries and in and around St. Louis. Today we'll focus on St. Louis City. Next week we'll focus on St. Louis County. But I'm excited to learn more about this whole process, and we'll get into that today. So I need you to do me a huge favor. Coming in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and know your brand. Smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it this morning.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy, and most say if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
Good morning and welcome to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, CORTEZ Hustle, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, coming to you live and direct from the Local Biz Marketing Studios, Local Biz Marketing Pros Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you are a local service-based business and you're looking to optimize your online presence, increase your lead flow, and grow your revenue so that you can expand your operation and contribute more to your community, Local Biz Marketing Pros wants to help. Just go to localbizmarketingpros.com and you'll see what it is that they have to offer. Great services, great products to help local businesses compete in this national business landscape. So welcome to the show today. Today we're talking local politics. Again, my girl Michelle A is out today. So y'all make sure y'all lift her up in prayer as she is working through some health challenges with her father. So we're talking local politics today and what's going on in the primaries coming up in 2 weeks. And I thought I would at least share with you a simple ballot and see who's on the ballot, who's actually running for office, and some of the propositions that are on the ballot as well. So comment in the chat, man. How important do you think local elections are, right? We're talking local politics. How important do you think local politics are, right? One of the reasons that I decided to do this show and this podcast in general is to get more involved in the local St. Louis community. And I've been hearing for years that, in order, local politics are more important than national politics. But I'll be honest, I haven't been involved in politics in general, local politics particularly. So we're going to get into that. But before we do any of that, we got a couple quick announcements. But I want to know your thoughts on the local political scene. Is it worth our time to really be paying attention and to be voting, or should we be going in a different direction? So again, pray for Michelle as she's working through some health challenges with her father. For those of you who were following the show last week, y'all know that over the weekend, I attended Ariel Bivens Biggs Young Biz Kids YBK Day, and it was flat out amazing. 50 entrepreneurs at Harrisville State University. These young people showed up and showed out. The community came out. Nickelodeon came out to record some footage for a documentary. PBS was in the building recording footage for a documentary. A couple other local media outlets were there showing these babies some love. They made a ton of money. A lot of other young people came out to meet these young entrepreneurs to find out if entrepreneurship could be a path for them as well. So kudos to Ariel, and y'all stay tuned because we'll be interviewing some of these young entrepreneurs and their parents in the coming weeks about this whole entire experience. Some of the young entrepreneurs around the country were doing the same thing. It was just a flat out amazing opportunity. Also, this Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're doing a content party. Some of you guys know that we love to do workshops around here that not only teach, but we actually have you doing the work on the workshop. So you'll be able to share your screens with us. We'll be able to help you get through some of the actual tactics and strategies that we are deploying within the workshop. So if you're interested in content marketing for your local small business and you want someone to teach you how to best do that, then comment content marketing so I can get you the link to this Thursday's webinar. Normally we do our Hour of Power webinars midday, but this week we're going to do it in the evening so more people can actually participate. Also, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I'm posting some links in the comments. Make sure that you go out on Facebook's website and buy some stars, right? Facebook is starting to allow local influencers like myself to monetize our content. And one of the ways they do that is if you go out and you buy stars, you can then bless those of us who have our pages and live streams monetized. It'll say give stars, right? You can give us those stars. Facebook then converts those stars to money and they actually give it to us, the influencer. So not just myself, Michelle, but any of your local influencers, if you're getting value, then show us some love, show them some love. This is one of the ways that we are looking to feed our families by making $1 and a difference at the exact same time. So make sure y'all do that. And of course, don't forget to check out our sponsor, Local Biz Marketing Pro. So we're talking local politics. What I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to bring up a sample ballot. That's right. Let me just grab the link to this sample ballot so that you guys can go grab it yourselves as well. And basically, this is the one for St. Louis City. It shows all of the candidates and propositions that are on the ballot for this primary election. So go check that out for yourselves. But I'm going to go over as many of these as I possibly can to show you who's running for the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the Libertarian Party, and some other parties that I didn't even know existed. It's one of the reasons that I'm doing this is because I'm getting serious about my role in this world, not just this local economy in the St. Louis area, not just in the business community, but in the world. And I think I should be more involved and be at very least understanding of local politics and who the local politicians are and who's really for our communities and who's not trying to do our communities any good. So that's what we're going to be covering today. But y'all know, if my girl Michelle was here, we would be doing the Michelle A word of the day. So I'm actually going to fill in for her today. And I've got a word for you today, man. So let's get into the Michelle A word of the day.
And now the Michelle A word of the day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy CORTEZ Hustle in for my girl Michelle A and standing in for the word of the day today. And today's word is protect. There's 3 things that I want you to protect. Focus on protecting these 3 things for the rest of the year. And I promise you, your 2023 and beyond will be amazing. So what are the 3 things that I want you to focus on protecting? Number 1, we talk about this all the time. It is your peace. You've got to learn how to protect your peace, right? There are people who are nothing but ish starters, right? And all they want to do is cause chaos because some people have set their lives up in a way that they can only exist where there is chaos, right? And when those people come into your life like a whirlwind, they want to bring that chaos with them. And you got to learn how to protect your peace, right? Number two, what are you focusing on protecting for the rest of the year? Your joy, man. Your joy. See, I understand that joy is that perpetual feeling that you have on the inside based on who you are and whose you are. In my case, and I have joy that is unexplainable. And when other people see this joy, they can't understand how in a world that seems like it's going to hell in a handbasket, how I can be so happy. And you know what those people want to do? They want to bring their misery and superimpose it on me because they don't believe that my joy is real. And I want to tell you, if you got the kind of joy that I have, you got to know how to protect that joy because people will try to steal it. So you're focusing on protecting your peace. You got to focus on protecting your joy, right? For me, I got a peace that surpasses all understanding, and people can't get with that. CORTEZ, how are you so calm, cool, and collected all the time? Man, because I got a faith in a man that has changed my life, right? And one of the promises of that faith in Jesus Christ is that I would get a peace that surpasses all understanding. So when people can't understand why I'm at peace in the middle of chaos, that ain't my problem, right? So you got to protect your peace. You got to protect your joy. Here's one that most people rarely talk about, but you got to protect your ambition, people. See, we live in a world where mediocrity is running rampant, right? Our world, those that run this economy, that runs this current system that we are living in, are creating a bunch of people that are mediocre, that people who don't think for themselves, people that don't have any drive, people that don't have any ambition. And when you have drive and ambition, you literally stick out like a sore thumb. And everybody around you will tell you to chill out. You're too excited. You're too driven. You're going too hard. Your dreams are too big. All you ever talk about is your business. All you ever talk about is your dreams. All you ever talk about is whatever you're driven towards. See, those people are trying to rob you of your ambition. You know why? Because your ambition shines a light on their lack thereof. And you got to be careful when those people come into your life talking about your dreaming too big. You got to be careful when people come into your life talking about chill out, slow down, ease up. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. You got to know how to protect your ambition, protect your hustle, because people love to superimpose their life of mediocrity, their life of lack of ambition. They love to try to bring you down to their level. They love to try to shrink your dreams into a box that they have created for themselves. And you, my friend, have got to know how to protect your ambition. Three things that we're focusing on protecting. We're protecting our peace, we're protecting our joy, and we're protecting our ambition. That, my friends, is the Michelle A. word of the day. And I am filling in for Michelle A. I'm in CORTEZ Hustle. And the word of the day is brought to you by Trio Banquet Center and Rentals. They are celebrating Free Hot Dog Day, National Hot Dog Day tomorrow by giving away free hot dogs from 12 to 6 p.m. tomorrow, right over there in St. Charles, Missouri. So y'all make sure y'all go check out Trio Banquet Center and Rentals. So we're talking local politics today. I'm going to share with you guys a sample ballot. But before I do that, I didn't really know what primary elections were, right? So I looked it up, right? So what are primaries? Primaries are elections that political parties use to select candidates for general elections. Then each party's candidates run against each other in the general election. So right now, the primaries are happening in St. Louis, the St. Louis metro area. and I guess all throughout the state of Missouri, they are happening August the 2nd, right? So what's happening is these political parties, right? And if you go to the link that I put in the comments, you can find a sample ballot, and the sample ballot shows each political party's candidates that they are putting against each other to run for general election, right? So the Republican Party has their candidates. The Democratic Party has their candidates. There is also the Libertarian Party, and there is the Constitution Party, and I think let's see, and then there is the Green Party. So in the state of Missouri, is that the last one? No, there is the then nonpartisan party, right? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 political parties in the St. Louis metro area, and they all have candidates that are running against each other in some cases to see who they're going to present to pursue office in the general election happening in November. How many guys think that local elections are more important than national elections? I'm just wondering, right? Because this is all new to me, and I'll tell you my thought process around politics in general is as an entrepreneur and understanding that my calling, the calling on my life is based on entrepreneurship, problem solving for our communities. I understand something about local politics that most people don't. Poor and middle class people vote. Wealthy and rich people lobby. There's a difference. Poor and middle class people vote for a person that they think can make change, right? Wealthy and rich people lobby for the laws that they know will make change, irregardless of the person that's in office. I want y'all to understand that. Poor and middle class people vote for people that they think will make change. Wealthy and rich people lobby for laws that they know will make change, and specifically change in their favor, right? So as an entrepreneur, I've always subscribed to the way that Dr. Claude Anderson thinks, is that we as a community should be pooling our resources so we can buy and or rent politicians to get an agenda across that we want to have done. So I'm thinking I'm just going to make enough money in business, and then I'm going to use that money to influence politics to create the outcomes that we need to see have created in our communities, right? And that was kind of my thought process. But as I'm thinking about that, I'm like, okay, well, you better get to know the local political process if that's going to be the move that you're going to make. If that's the play that you are making, then you need to get to know that whole political process. So I started to dive in a little bit, and I'm starting to connect with organizations that really do this and they really understand this, so that I can get a better understanding. So when I started to look, the first thing I started with, I said, hey, let me take a look and see who's even running for office. Let me take a look at some of the propositions that is being considered to be on the ballot for the general election. So we're starting with St. Louis City this week. Next Tuesday, we're going to do St. Louis County and see what's on the ballots for St. Louis County. So if we look at the sample ballot for St. Louis City and the Republican Party, again, primaries are basically the parties fighting with each other, right? Hey, who is going to be the best candidate that's going to represent us? And then out of our primaries, we're going to choose a candidate that we're all going to get behind. So if I'm the Republicans, we might have 4, 5, 6 people running, and then those 4, 5, 6 people will dwindle down to one person that we're all going to get behind, right? So right now we're fighting amongst each other. But then after the winner comes out of this primary, then we all rally around and get behind that one winner. And then we help push them in the national or the general election. So let's take a look at this sample ballot. So official ballot primary election, St. Louis, City of St. Louis, Missouri, August 2nd, 2022, all races. So what do we have? We have a race for U.S. Senate. And in the Republican Party, these are the candidates: Patrick Lewis, Eric Smith, Billy Long, Eric Greitens, Bernie Mowinski, C.W. Gardner, Deshaun Porter, Vicky Hartzler, Dave Sims, Mark McCloskey, Eric McElroy, Dennis Lee Chilton, Robert Allen, Dave Schatz, Hartford Tunnel, Kevin C. Sheppers, Ricky Joyner, Robert Olson, Russell Peeler, Bree Fogel Jr., Daryl Leon McClanahan, and Curtis D. Vaughn. Now, some of these names sound familiar, and I wonder if they're the descendants of people who were politicians in the past. So basically, we've got a race for Senate, and the Republican Party candidates, there's a ton running for Senate, right? So they're looking to see who's going to vote and who's going to come out of this Senate race, and then they're going to back one person and try to push that person to the Senate race against the Democratic Party, right? Then let's see, what else do they have? They have vote for state auditor. They have a couple candidates fighting one another for state auditor: David Gregory, Scott Fitzpatrick. For U.S. Representative District 1, they have Steve Jordan, Andrew Jones, Laurel Mitchell Riley. And then for state senator District 4, they have one of their representatives. These people are running unopposed. I guess from the primary perspective, they just need to win in the general election. So for District 4, state senator, you got Mary Teresa McLean. You got District 80, state rep Kirk Hilsinger. And then you got Jake Core, state rep District 81. For state rep District 82, you got Robert J. Crump, right? This is some interesting stuff, right? Then you got your Republican candidates that are looking to run for collector of revenue: Robert Vroman, for license collector, Michael Hebron, and for recorder of deeds, Timothy Garden, right? These are jobs. Like, I didn't know people ran for jobs like that, right? Proposition S: shall the Board of Education of the City of St. Louis borrow money in the amount of $160 million for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, renovating, repairing, improving, furnishing, and equipping school sites, buildings, and related facilities in the district, including but not limited to removing lead paint. So this is a proposition to borrow money for the City of St. Louis Department of Education. Interesting, right? So they're basically saying yes or no, should this proposition be on the ballot? It's another proposition: shall Section 24 of Article 4 of the city's charter be changed to increase the maximum fine for violations of city ordinances regarding preservation and protection of environmental conditions for presenting harm to the health, safety, and comfort of city residents, or harm to private or public property, such as unauthorized dumping of waste. So basically, do they want to increase the fine from $500 to $1,000? These are things that people must vote on to even get them on the ballot in the general election. Interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the Republican ballot. But then you got the Democratic Party, and they have their candidates, right? So for the Democratic Party, they've got some folks fighting to become United States Senator. Lewis Rowland, Gina Ross, Carla Coffey Wright, who we had on this show a couple weeks ago, Josh Shipp, Spencer Toder, Lucas Kuntz, Jewel Kelly, Clarence Clay Taylor, Pat Kelly, Trudy Bush Valentine, Ronald Ron William Harris, right? So you got to make sure that you guys go out and find out what these people's politics is. Now, some of you guys will just wait to the general election and you just kind of vote whatever your party says vote for. But you really want to get granular with this thing. You want to make sure that your party is pushing the right candidate to begin with. For state auditor, they have Alan Green. For state rep District 1, they've got a few people running. So Ron Harshaw, Michael Daniels, Corey Bush. I've been hearing that name a lot lately. Earl Childress, Steve Roberts, right? So I know that for District 1, Corey Bush is the incumbent, right? I know that she is in office now. So it looks like she's trying to fight to stay there, right? Then you have for state senator, Carla May, nobody opposing her within the party. For state rep, District 76, Marlon Anderson, no one opposing Marlon in the party. State rep, District 77, Kimberly Ann Collins, no one opposing her. State rep, District 79, Lakeisha Bosley, no one opposing Lakeisha Bosley in that district. State rep, District 80, Peter J. Meredith, right? And then they also have state rep District 81, Steve Butts and Bill Stevens going head to head. State rep District 82, Donna MC Behringer. State rep District 84, Dale Taylor and Willie Chip Price going head to head. And then they have some folks that want the job of collector of revenue, Gregory FX Daly, license collector, Mavis, Tessa Thompson, and recorder of deeds, Michael Butler. And then, of course, the same two propositions are on the ballot there as well. But then you have some of the smaller parties. You got the Libertarian Party, their candidates. So they do have one candidate that they'll be pushing for U.S. Senate, Jonathan Dine, for state auditor, John Hartwig, for state rep District 1, George Zidinson. Oh, man, I probably messed that up. State rep District 80, Rebecca Sharp. And those are the only seats that the Libertarian Party is pushing for. Then you have, let's see, the Constitution Party candidates. They have someone that they want to see in the state Senate seat, Paul Venable. And that's the only person on their ballot. And then the Green Party candidate has someone running for recorder of deeds, Jerome H. Bauer and Don DeVivo, right? Interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And then last but not least, we have the Nonpartisan Party, and they don't have any candidates on their ballots as of right now. So when we look at these different deals here, right? So now the sample ballot simply says, hey, these are the people that are running within the parties to come out as the number one person to be pit up against the other candidates in the party. So now, once you know the propositions, once you know the people, the question becomes, who are these folks, right? Who the heck are these folks? So now you have to do your due diligence and go find out what's going on with each of these people, right? So if I want to see if I go to the Democratic race for District 1, right? And I want to see, okay, Cori Bush, that's a name that I know. Should she stay in office, right? Should Cori Bush stay in office, right? And basically, what you can do is you can go out and look at Cori Bush's politics, right? So she's got a website, Cori Bush for Congress, CoriBush.org. Let's see what it says Cori Bush is about on her website, right? Of course, you can donate. Cori Bush fighting to save lives. Your Congresswoman loves you. So let's see. What is it that on the issues? I do this work to save lives. I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck, to be burdened with student and medical debt, and to live day to day in St. Louis, where we face the violence of poverty, police abuse, crime, and disinvestment. We need a champion for policies that will affect residents of Missouri's 1st District. I am that champion. So we look at our website. I would, she said, hey, here are 4 things that that she really wants to get people behind her on. Number 1, protecting the right to vote. Number 2, transforming public safety. Number 3, reproductive justice action and support hub. And then housing for all, right? So I guess we can go learn more about what she's doing to protect the fight, the right to vote, right? So now that's her history. So now we have to ask ourselves, okay, what is the Democratic Party? Why is the Democratic Party looking to replace Cori Bush? And then you can look at, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 men running against Cori. And we can go and look at what their politics are, right? Earl Childress for Congress. Let's see. Let's win together is what Earl's campaign slogan looks like it's going to be. Boom. So Earl is running for Congress he wants Cori Bush's seat, right? So this is Earl, and then let's win together. Of course, you can give his donations. He's an ordained pastor, economic rights leader, and financial activist. All right. Let's see. What is Earl all about? He wants to reduce crime. All right. He wants strong schools. He wants police refinement. He wants a fair economy, right? We must build an economy that works for everyone, where prosperity is widely shared and everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed. Earl is committed to raising the federal minimum wage to lift millions of Americans out of poverty. He will fight for comprehensive tax reform to ensure everyone is paying their fair share. Interesting. Earl, what else is Earl about? Job creation. Job creation is fundamental to growing the St. Louis metro area. St. Louis families will thrive when they have access to high-paying, stable opportunities. Earl will create these conditions and facilitate job creation through working with small businesses and large corporations to develop our abundant natural resources, leverage broadband, use secure digital technology, and to remove excessive regulations, infrastructure. So Earl has something to say on a lot of topics, right? I think Corey just had 4 that she was main innovation. Okay. All right, Earl. So basically, we know who the candidates are in the primary. So the question becomes, and let me do this. Let me just, because I'm not biased towards any one of these kind of candidates. I don't live in the city of St. Louis, right? So let me pop their links, and so you guys can go do your own research, right? You want to donate to their campaigns, by all means, but this is not an advocacy for any of these candidates, right? Just looking at how I would approach doing my own research, right? So that's Earl Childress. What about Steve Roberts? Steve Roberts for Congress. Wait a minute, is that the same Steve Roberts? No, because it says he's going for Missouri State Senate, and this is Missouri Rep. Official campaign. All right, let's look at this Steve Roberts and see if this is something different. All right, so meet Steve Roberts. Donate to his campaign. Paid for by Roberts for Congress. All right, so so it's interesting that when I did the search on the ballot, it says for U.S. Rep District 1, Steve Roberts. But when I did the Google search, it said Missouri State Senate, which is different than U.S. Rep. And then I noticed on each one of these websites, it shows that U.S. Congress, Missouri District 1, and Cori Bush is already in the seat, so she doesn't necessarily have to say what she's representing, but it's hard to tell what he's running for on this website. Let's see, what are some of the issues? Crime, jobs, and the economy, infrastructure, education, healthcare, voting rights, criminal justice reform, climate change, reproductive rights, LGBTQ+, Israel, national security, I don't know what he's running for. Not on his website anyway, at least on, so is the current senator in the Missouri Senate from the 5th District after serving 2 terms as a representative of the 77th Missouri House District. So now is he going to become a U.S. Senator fighting for Cori Bush's seat? I don't know. It's just interesting to see all of these different things. Great Tuesday, everyone. Have a blessed, amazing week from New Jersey. Thank you so much for tuning in. So those are the things that we were kind of are looking for and looking at, and, you know, doing your own research, right? Do your own research on the propositions that are on the board. So Proposition S, $160 million the city of St. Louis school district wants to borrow. Go look at what they did with the last time they borrowed money, right? So let's do proposition S. St. Louis for education. All right, so here is from the St. Louis Public Schools own website, Proposition S overview. So we can kind of go in and we can kind of look at, hey, what do y'all plan to do with this money? Right? Again, I don't live in the St. Louis city. Next week, we'll be doing St. Louis County, which does affect where I live, but St. Louis metro area, right? This all affects us all. So we should have somewhat of a understanding of what's going on, right, across the entire metro area. Proposition S 2022 initial project allocation. So again, they are looking to borrow $160 million, right? The Board of Education of St. Louis has placed Proposition S, a $160 million zero tax rate change bond issue on the August 2nd, 2020 election ballot. If passed, bond issue funds will support facilities acquisition, construction improvements, renovations, and upgrades across all St. Louis public schools and facilities, right? Gregory FX Daly, St. Louis Collector of Revenue, and St. Louis City Comptroller and Chief Fiscal Officer Darlene Green will co-chair the campaign. Now, here's what's interesting to me as an entrepreneur, and this is where I apologize for those of you who are not entrepreneurs and you don't see everything through this lens. I'm looking, this is how it affects me, even if I am not in the city of St. Louis. I do not live in the city of St. Louis, right? They are about to, let's just say it passes and they win and they get to borrow this $160 million. Well, this is where you as an entrepreneur, need to make sure that you are registered with the City of St. Louis School District to be able to submit bids and contracts and to do business with the St. Louis Public School District, right? Then, because it's a public organization, I'm going to go here and look at what their proposals are. What are they trying to do with $160 million? And is there a scope of work that I could do for STL public schools that I can earn some of that $160 million? So let's just take a look at what it says that they're going to do. Now, I'm a marketing agency, but there's a lot of stuff that they plan to do with this money, and maybe they don't need any marketing, right? But here's what you got to understand. This is what local politics does for entrepreneurs, right? The funding will be used for facilities work, including, but not limited to, air quality, lead removal, security improvements, HVAC, roof repairs, bathroom upgrades. Every one of the more than 60 schools and buildings in St. Louis public schools will be touched in some way with these upgrades. Now, they got this little grid, this little chart here. Let me see if I can blow it up and see. Now, so if I am a service provider of any of these things, right? Let's go back to the list. It says, including but not limited to, right? So if I have a business that is in air quality, I sell air quality machines, I am in lead removal, I am in security, I have HVAC, roof repair, bathroom plumbing, right? These are all the things that if they win this bid to borrow this 160 million, they've got to spend the entire 160 million. So when you understand local politics, you understand that these government entities are getting money and they are planning to spend it. They're telling you that if you're an HVAC company, you need to make sure that your business is positioned to do business with St. Louis Public Schools. Because they're about to be hiring a bunch of contractors to do a bunch of work in over 60 schools and buildings within their care. If you're a roofing contractor, do you have your paperwork in order that will allow you to do business with the St. Louis Public School System? Because they're trying to borrow $160 million. This now makes me want to pay attention to local politics, right? So I'm looking at what they plan to do with the money, and I'm saying, hey, does any of this work fall into my scope of business, right? So now they put out this projection and they just kind of said, like, hey, this is what we're looking to do with that money, right? And it's hard for me to see, right? But $160 million. So they said they want to do 30 million is going into building envelopment, to the building envelope. So I guess this is all things building, right? 10 million is for safety and security, right? So even if you don't do physical security, do you have security software that you might need to sell the St. Louis Public School System, right? Outdoor learning space and playgrounds, right? They're going to spend 12 million on that. Building upgrades and enhancements. 9.5 million they're going to spend on that, right? 27 million is going to be spent on their restrooms. So that could be paint, that could be plumbing, that could be fixtures. 32.5 million on HVAC. Do you have a commercial HVAC team, right? And then watch this. If you're a Black-owned business, a woman-owned business, a veteran-owned business, and you do not have your certification, now might be the time for you to get it. Because this is a government institution. By law, every government institution has to spend a percentage of any borrowed money with minority business owners. Now, here's where we tend to fall short as Black business owners. A, we don't get certified. We never learn the bidding process. B, and how to get to be considered for some of these opportunities. And C, we don't understand the power of networking. Well, CORTEZ, what does networking have to do with being certified to do business with Black-owned businesses? Listen, sometimes the way Black contractors get the work is through their relationships with white contractors. I'm just saying. See, sometimes your relationship with a white contractor, they say, hey, we have earned out of the 32.5 million that they're going to spend on HVAC, we earned 15 million of that contract. But at the stipulation for us, in order for us to secure 15 million of that contract, we have to invest at least 1 million of that in minority-owned subcontractors. right? Give me your name in the Facebook group. I can see you posting, but I can't see your name, right? He said, that's why I'm here to learn how to, right? So sometimes it is I, as a Black owned business and contractor, I submitted my bid directly to the school district and they did not accept the bid. Okay, Tia Rogers, thank you so much. They did not accept the bid. However, because I am also certified as a Black minority owned, veteran owned, woman owned business, when the white contractor that I'm friends with got the bid, they still got to make sure they bring on so many minority contractors. And because of our relationship, I can get the work through the white contractor and do some of the work and hire my staff and feed y'all got to understand, like, I have never seen politics this way. So I'm super stoked about doing this episode because it's brought a new light and it's starting to connect the dots for me. So I'm like Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm like, man, hey, I'm gonna build my business so big. And when my business gets so big, I'm gonna connect with other entrepreneurs who've got money and influence, and we're just gonna buy or rent politicians. That's how every other culture does it, right? I started to show off saying that poor and middle class people vote. Rich and wealthy people lobby. There's a difference. We vote on people that we think can make change. They lobby for laws that they know will make change in their favor. They spend millions of dollars. They don't care who sits in the seat. We trying to get a law passed that's going to benefit us. And if it costs us $1 million for us to get a law passed that's going to allow us to make billions, yeah, we'll invest millions of dollars to do that. We've got to understand how this whole game is played. We got to start playing it better. So next week, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it for the St. Louis County, right? Today we focus on St. Louis City, right? I live in Florissant, so that's part of St. Louis County. I'm looking to see what kind of propositions are on the board for St. Louis County, right? Who's about to borrow a bunch of money out here in St. Louis County? What kind of projects that are being voted on in the St. Louis County? And can I offer services to any of these government institutions that's about to get a boatload of money, right? Yeah, Tia, I'm starting to understand, like, we will sit back and we will look at something like gentrification, for instance. And all we'll do is run our mouths and complain. Oh, other cultures are coming in here and they're buying up our properties and they're pricing us out. But we lived in these communities our whole lives. We watched them fall apart. And none of us decided to put our pennies together. None of us picked up a newspaper that says, hey, the city of St. Louis is selling all of these properties for $1 if you can fix them up. But then when another community comes in and do what we could have done, now we mad at everybody but ourselves. I'm building something that's going to literally do exactly what we have been crying and complaining about. Somebody has to lead the charge to do it, right? I grew up in Wellston. Right now, the whole doggone city is for sale. The whole thing, everything out there is for sale. And a lot of people who have ties to that community and financial resources will sit back and wait for North County or some organization to say, hey, we're going to turn this land over to someone else. And when someone else comes in and buys up all of that land and they fix all of those houses, and the people who grew up there 3, 4, 5 generations are forced to move, they're going to be crying, screaming about some injustice that has been done. I'm good friends with the mayor out there. And he's saying, Tez, we got to get our money together, because if we don't, somebody is going to come in here, get a boatload of money to turn this city around, and we ain't going to be able to touch none of it. But we got to start getting involved. We got to start understanding how all of this stuff works and how it affects us. Local level, local politics. Why? Who's in the game playing? Why are they in the game? How well are they playing the game? Are they for us or against us? Like, there's so much. And I'll tell you, one of the things that really has got me on this path is I've been watching the series Yellowstone, right? And I see how, as a business owner, you got to play the game a little bit different, because sometimes the government can be your enemy, and you got to know what they're doing and the moves that they plan to make 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And can you get in that path of development? Can you get in that path of growth? Can you bid on some jobs now that won't even take place until 10 years from now? Can you build the right relationships so you can get the inside knowledge to say, oh, City of St. Louis Public Schools is about to get $160 million. Oh, they're about to spend $2.8 million on ADA compliance. Now, I don't even know what ADA compliance is. But if I had an ADA compliance business, I might want to know that the City of St. Louis Public Schools plans to spend $2.8 million on it. This is the game that we must learn how to play. And as I'm learning how to play it, I'm going to be bringing to you, just like I'm doing today, just like I do in all of my Facebook Lives, everything that I'm learning, I'm teaching at the exact same time, even sometimes to the detriment of my own success. Because you guys realize that I probably could be moving a lot faster if I wasn't, every time I learn something, stopping to teach you guys. Every time I learn something, as I'm learning, I'm stopping to teach you guys as I'm learning. I probably could be a little further along if I just said, let me just learn for 10 years and then I come back and teach everybody. I'm just trying to bring people with me. Right? So thank you guys for tuning in. Come back next week. If you live in the St. Louis County area, we're going to look at some of the candidates. We're going to look at that same sample ballot, and we're going to see what's going on in the St. Louis County races and who's up for election and re-election, who's trying to boost people out of their seats and all of that kind of stuff. Man, this is good stuff to be learning, and it's time to get more involved in your local community. So I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Until I talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. So hustle up.